Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about their movies, of course, TV shows, merchandise, you name it. I mean, okay, technically they didn't make this character, but Montel was involved with Disney quite a few times over the years. I should say multiple times, really. Anyway, point being, I want to talk about one of these lost media type videos again, where we're talking about with certain projects that were supposed to have been made, but for one reason or another, weren't. Some projects out there might enter production hell because the initial goal here was fully out there. Maybe there's some kind of difficulty of meeting these goals were underestimated. Attempts to meet these goals have like really failed or whatever. And yeah, it's gonna be a Barbie again, one of her animated features. You'd be thinking that alone that seems pretty over the top. Like, okay, Barbie has made roughly 40 animated movies, and one of which is live action. So yeah, you think of all the characters in cinema, she making a horror movie shouldn't be too difficult. Making a horror film shouldn't all be all that complicated. And you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that. So you think that this kind of project involving said character would have been an easy go, so be easy greenlit. And again, you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that. You think just her image alone, that should be enough for the brand name and everything. So okay, it's just unfortunately, even Barbie herself isn't immune to this kind of a thing. So yes, again, we're talking about one of her animated projects that was intended to have some kind of release, but unfortunately, it wasn't released, which I'll get to in just a moment here, folks. But it's just that even she's not safe from this kind of thing, unfortunately. So what I don't understand is that what's preventing them from picking up this project now? I don't know. We're easy to pick it up now if they wanted to, because this project I'm talking about was already quite old. It was like an old project they had in mind for years ago. But anyway, Barbie the Royal Summer. So okay, as you can guess yourself, obviously there's gonna be another princess themed type of animated feature, which seems pretty typical for Barbie because she has starred in many princess themed titles. So this doesn't seem too much of a stretch. And in case you're wondering, I don't have any concept art or anything like that, any storyboards or whatever. I have nothing of the nature, so it didn't really go in that far into production. Not really. But anyway, which I'll probably just get into in just a moment, folks. So, the idea, I got something of a storyline for this one here, folks, because the general consensus is that Barbie herself was star as Bolero Widows. So, I mean, again, this is something that has happened before, where Barbie was starred as the main character, but she wouldn't be called Barbie. She would just be titled as a different character, which again has happened in different features. But anyway, her character here, Blair Widows, is supposed to be this kind-hearted princess in training. So she has to learn the ropes on how to be a princess, how to act like one, be royal, be graceful, and all that. And yes, there are going to be some lessons when it comes to friendship and whatnot. And she attends this Princess Charm School, in which she has to learn all kinds of stuff, of course. Yes, and princess in training kind of a thing. Anyway, the thing is that when it comes to the changes in its concept, the Blair Widow's character was replaced with more of an original character, and another major change for the story is that more of a fresh storyline was meaning is that it's going to focus on the prison training and self-discovery. So it's going to be more emphasis on that specifically, and so what I'm trying to get at is that while information on Barbie the Royal Summer is fairly scarce, so there's not a whole lot can go on, but it's quite clear that Mattel, the company behind the dolls, had definitely reworked the concept to create some kind of more engaging story and whatnot. So, if anything, the concept here wasn't completely abandoned, really, because it was reworked as a different movie. So I'm doing it. If anything, the reasons for this cancellation is the story issues, the story itself, the original concept. I mean, the original concept wasn't well received, leading to a revision, of course, and that's one of the major issues with it. That and second reason is that overlapping with already existing films, which I mean, kind of like what I just said a moment ago. There's been multiple films where Barbie already started as a princess with similar ideas. Basically, in other words, similar themes and elements would have made this project redundant in some ways. So if it would have felt too similar into some already existing movies. The two reasons being that it wasn't too satisfying the original concept, and the second reason being it would seem too redundant, like I was saying earlier. So they made the movie Barbie Princess Charm School instead as a replacement project. And as mentioned a moment ago, it would have focused more on self discovery and the whole thing with princess training. So their entire thing was pretty much revamped and they did a when I say they I mean the company Montel did a whole U-Haul on this and just kept like maybe very specific elements from the original concept and just carry over to the new project and just to make it more refreshing while keeping the whole princess thing, but they just want to make it more a bit more original, a bit more, I guess, not make it so mundane, not so tiring. Just want to keep the whole princess aspect, but trying to keep it refreshing to some extent, so it won't come off like just doing the same thing, not too much copy and paste or whatnot. And in a lot of ways, it worked because Charm School was well received. Actually, the film, the finished project that was actually made, was actually really well received. Actually, so a lot of people did seem to like the finished film. So I guess there was that, I suppose. So I guess it was not a complete loss for this character. I guess at least for this project anyway. So anyway, and yeah, so some noticeable differences, of course, to some extent, but at the end of the day, let's end up with that one movie instead, of course. The character will also be kept as Blair, and the thing is that in the earliest descriptions of the plot, Barbie would have been played as Blair, a girl who grows up in the kingdom. She's supposed to be like this orphan who has seen the destruction of her kingdom's natural resources, and there would be this longing to leave, but as fate would have it, fate has other ideas. Blair once is invited to this assistant and this kind of princess prep school kind of a thing. But again, like I was saying, a good chunk of this was revised. Of course, like I was saying, a good chunk of this was revived. So a lot of this didn't make it into the finished project, of course. The whole prep school thing was kept. Princess training was kept, and her name Blair was kept, of course, and the whole thing with the school training that was kept. But of course, but a lot of the other elements did not make it onto the film. So there was that, I suppose, I guess. And that's the thing, though. That happens quite often when it comes to even the direct-to-video stuff. At the end, one noticeable change when it comes to these types of movies. When I say these types of movies, I mean these princess type movies. Yes, typically, when you think about it, they usually take place in a fairy tale setting, but in this film, in the finished product version, it was a very modern day setting versus the typical fairy tale setting. If this was in the original concept, I have no idea or not. Maybe it was, maybe it was. I have no idea if this was the idea from the get go or if it was only added in the finished project. I'm not quite too sure. So your guess is as good as mine in regards of that. Alright folks, let's just wrap this up folks. I know this video wasn't particularly long, really. And it's just that I couldn't really dig about a whole lot when it comes to this kind of a thing. When it comes to this type of movies, so I guess there's a bit more to this than compared to the last one I made. When it comes to the Barbie Lost Projects, of course, and yes, obviously Barbie herself wants to make friends. She wants to be friendly and be open-minded, of course, which I'm pretty sure was going to be in the original concept as well. But to what extent, I'm not quite too sure, really. But anyway, I guess it's just something you just have to wonder, like how much different the original concept would have been. I'm pretty sure it would have been drastically different than compared to the original concept and versus the finished project, of course. So I guess they were trying to tweak it up enough to come off more refreshing, as I was saying earlier, folks. But anyway, of course, that'll be it for now. So obviously, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.